Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keeping you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United like I do on a regular basis. So I am going to be giving you a bit more additional information on Jadon Sancho, because yesterday night there was a lot of positivity coming out of the mainstream media regarding Jadon Sancho. Also, there's been positivity coming out regarding Harry Kane, so I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about that. And also going to give you the latest news on Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen. But I'll delve into that topic a bit later on in the video. So I am going to start with Jadon Sancho. So I actually read this in The Sun yesterday, and it's also now in quite a few other media outlets, and they're saying, that we are convinced that we have won the transfer race for Jadon Sancho after months of secret negotiations. Now, it is to be believed that the length of Sancho's contract, his salary, his bonuses, and his buyout clause has all been agreed with Manchester United. So I think every detail more or less has been agreed with Man United and the player. The only thing that hasn't been agreed is the fee. So what Manchester United need to do is we need to come to an agreement on a fee with Borussia Dortmund. And of course, Borussia Dortmund have already said that they want at least £100 million for him. Maybe we'd have to end up paying £120 million. But like I said, either figure is going to make him a record signing in the Premier League. It's also going to make him the most expensive British player in history, and it's going to make him our most expensive signing. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund, I think, are doing everything they can to try and convince him to stay, because don't forget, recent reports came out, like he updated you recently, and it says that Borussia Dortmund are willing to offer Jadon Sancho a new contract worth around £165,000 a week. So they're willing to give him an increase on his wages, to try and convince him to remain at Borussia Dortmund. Now, I think Jadon Sancho's got around 2 years remaining on his current contract at Borussia Dortmund. He's under contract with them until 2022. So basically, Borussia Dortmund are trying to block Jadon Sancho's move to Manchester United. Now, obviously, it also got revealed recently as well that last year, Borussia Dortmund wanted Mason Greenwood as part of a swap deal of selling Jadon Sancho. But obviously, that swap deal isn't going to materialise, because, we've got no intentions of letting Mason Greenwood go. Because I think, Mason Greenwood is the long-term future for Manchester United. He's the long-term future for Manchester United, and like I've mentioned, this has been his first full season in the senior squad. I think Mason Greenwood's got 12 or 13 goals in all competitions this season. I want to see Mason Greenwood get more opportunities next season in the Premier League, because this season he seldom started in the Premier League. A lot of his appearances have come from the substitutes bench, but he tends to start more in the cup games. And Greenwood's only, the age of 18 or 19. He can play as a number 9, and he can also play on the right. I think in the next year or so, he will emulate to Rashford's level and Anthony Martial's level. Probably, to be fair, will end up overtaking them. But there again, it did say, didn't it, last week, that if we were to fail to qualify for the Champions League, then Jadon Sancho would reject a move to Old Trafford. So maybe, it does depend on, whether we can get Champions League qualification or not, because don't forget, we was relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho last year, but the main explanation why we didn't get him is because we had no Champions League football to offer. And obviously, there has been a lot of uncertainty over Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future. But Jadon Sancho has revealed his preference is a move to Manchester United. Now, I think a couple of the beneficial things about, us recommending him in, like I've mentioned before, he's got a really, really good friendship with Marcus Rashford. And, Marcus Rashford did reveal he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season. And another beneficial thing about recommending Sancho in is that he's well proven in the Premier League. And he's played in Manchester before, because don't forget, before he went to Borussia Dortmund, he endured 2 years with Manchester City. But the main explanation, like I've mentioned before, why he left Manchester City is because he didn't get any first-team opportunities. And before he was at Manchester City, he was at Watford. He began his career at Watford, and he was at Watford for several years. Now, there hasn't only been Man United in for Sancho, though. Like I mentioned, Chelsea have expressed their interest in him. I think it was last week that Sancho had revealed that he is a lifelong Chelsea fan. So, reflecting on that, I did say there's still a possibility chance that he could go to Chelsea. But actually, I think he ruled himself out of making a move to Chelsea. Also, to Real Madrid have been in for him, but I don't think Real Madrid they're no longer in for him now because Real Madrid have got Mane on their agenda. They've also got Kylian Mbappe on their agenda, so I think Mbappe is their preference over Jadon Sancho. But yeah, we have been working on Jadon Sancho's contract, by the way, for a couple of months, I think now at least. And we've also been in contact with his agent for quite some time. I think it did say, we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho over £200,000 a week. So we're willing to give him probably the exact same as what, Marcus Rashford is on. But I honestly do believe that Jadon Sancho will go well alongside Rashford and Anthony Martial in our attacking line. And I think, that would be one of the club's best attacking trios. I think the best attacking trio we've had, of what I remember, was Ronaldo, Rooney and Tevez back in 07, 08 and 09. And Jadon Sancho is only the age of 20. He recently turned 20 not too long ago, and he is predominantly a right winger. I think occasionally he can play him centrally. But he's now into his third season at Borussia Dortmund as Jadon Sancho. He's into his third season. I think he was dropped in quite a lot of games earlier on in the season. But analysing his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown because Dortmund only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from City. So Dortmund are going to make a huge profit on the player. But I think Dortmund anyway have come to accept the fact that Sancho wants to leave. So they've had a few players on their agenda who could replace him. Obviously, Ferran Torres has been on their agenda from Valencia. Don't forget, I think it said last week from the media, that we'd expressed our interest in Ferran Torres. We're basically, seeing him as an alternative to Jadon Sancho, just in case we missed out on Sancho. Obviously, Bellingham's still on Dortmund's agenda as their adequate replacement for Jadon Sancho. So, yeah, I'm very, very convinced that Manchester United will sign Jadon Sancho. I think he'll probably, be our first signing when the transfer market does reopen, and he'll probably, be our sixth signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because obviously, at the moment, Solskjaer has made 5 signings. Well, 4 permanent signings and got 1 player on loan. So let's just put that into the equation. But yeah, so Sancho's going to cost us a hell of a lot of money. So that is the breaking news on him. So he's agreed every detail, more or less, of a move to Old Trafford. The only thing that hasn't been agreed is the fee. That's the only thing now that hasn't been agreed. But, we're very, very convinced that we have won the race for Jadon Sancho. We're very, very convinced that we have won the race for Jadon Sancho. And, this is a very, very good news. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, let's delve into the news on Harry Kane. So, there's positivity coming out regarding Harry Kane because Mail on Sunday, they reported out yesterday saying now that Real Madrid have ended their interest in Harry Kane. Because, Real Madrid have been relentlessly, linked with Harry Kane. Now, like I've mentioned to you before, Real Madrid have done business with Tottenham in the past. Don't forget they got Gareth Bale from them back in 2013 for around £85 million. And they also got Luka Modric off them for around, £30 million. So yeah, Real Madrid have done business with Tottenham in the past. But they are no longer interested now in Harry Kane. Harry Kane has actually said his preference would be a move to Manchester United over Real Madrid, so probably is keen on continuing plying his trade in the Premier League. Now, of course, Harry Kane fueled a lot of speculation last month because he had come out and made an admission, and he did say he could decide to leave Tottenham if he feels as though they're failing to match his ambition. Because, of course, Harry Kane has revealed his ambition, and his ambition is to win silverware and obviously, join a club that are capable of winning trophies. And he hasn't experienced any of this during his, career with Tottenham so far. He hasn't won anything in terms of silverware, and he's been at Tottenham for several years. He's been in their senior squad since 2011. Harry Kane has got 181 goals in all competitions for Tottenham. So he's like Tottenham's third highest goal scorer in their history. And I think he's got like 136 Premier League goals in just under 200 Premier League appearances. So Harry Kane did say he will not stay at Tottenham for the sake of it, but we've been relentlessly linked with Kane. We haven't only just expressed our interest. I think we've been in for Harry Kane for the last 5 years or so. We've been in for him. I think we first expressed our interest under the Louis van Gaal era. Now, obviously, Tottenham have basically offered Harry Kane to Manchester United, and Daniel Levy, who's a Tottenham chairman, he's agreed that Tottenham will let Harry Kane go, providing that their asking price is met. Tottenham have revealed that they want a world record fee of £200 million. Now, of course, if we was to pay £200 million, he obviously would be the joint most expensive player in the world, because the most expensive player in the world at the moment is Neymar, who PSG paid £200 million for, from Barcelona that was. But I'm just very, very sceptical that Manchester United would pay £200 million for Harry Kane. To be quite honest with you, I don't think he's worth £200 million. Now, you've got obviously, quite a few, pundits that have come out and said Manchester United, should sign Harry Kane because he would be a great addition to the squad and he would turn us into title contenders. You've had Alan Shearer coming out recently saying that Man United need to sign Sancho, Kane and Grealish. You had Harry Redknapp saying he'd be a great addition to our squad, but he said, that Harry Kane should remain loyal to Tottenham. You obviously, had Roy Keane. He urged Man United early on this season to go on and sign Harry Kane. But I just can't see us, paying up to £200 million for the player. Because like I've said, Harry Kane's not been the only striker on our agenda. There has been quite a few other strikers on our agenda that are much cheaper solutions than Harry Kane. You've obviously got Aubameyang, that's a much cheaper solution than Harry Kane. You've got Haaland, that's a cheaper solution than Kane. You've got Werner, that's a cheaper solution than Kane. Plus Werner can play in more than one position. But so it wouldn't surprise me, if we paid £200 million for Harry Kane. It wouldn't surprise me. Because obviously, we're known for overpaying for players anywhere. Like I've said to you before, we paid £8 to £9 million for Pogba. We paid £75 million for Lukaku back in 2017. We paid £50 million for Fred. We paid £40 million for Matic. We paid £80 million for Harry Maguire last summer. So we are known for overpaying for players. And, so it wouldn't surprise me, if we did pay £200 million for Harry Kane. And, we have done business with Tottenham in the past, don't forget. We got Dimitar Berbatov off them. We also got Michael Carrick off them. And Michael Carrick endured around 12 years at Manchester United. So, we have done business with Tottenham in the past. But like I've mentioned, Daniel Levy is a very, very hard negotiator when it comes to recruiting players from Tottenham. But he's a very, very good businessman. So I've got to give, Daniel Levy the credit. Now, I think it did say the other week that Ed Woodward is set to hold negotiations with Daniel Levy over the possibility of Kane, coming to Manchester United when the transfer window does reopen. And I've got an element of concern, though, about Harry Kane, that he is injury prone. He has been out with a hamstring injury as Harry Kane since January. And he's sustained quite a few injuries, during his Tottenham career. Harry Kane has still got a contract with Tottenham until 2024. He's still got a contract with them until 2024. Because back in the summer of 2018, Harry Kane signed a 6-year deal worth around £200,000 a week. But basically, we need a striker, because we're looking for an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. When Lukaku left the club last summer, he went to Inter Milan. Unfortunately, we didn't get a replacement for him. Herrera left the club last summer, and, we didn't get a replacement for Herrera in our midfield. But there you go. But basically, Tottenham are looking to ease their financial worries. This is why they want to, get £200 million for Kane. because obviously, Tottenham are still paying for their £1 billion stadium. They're still paying for the £1 billion stadium. I think they owe like 600 odd million on the stadium loan. I think it's 630 odd million and around 83 million in transfer fees. So, yeah. So, £200 million for Kane is far too much, because for that £200 million, you could recruit maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 players in. I just don't think Harry Kane is worth 200 million. He's 26 years of age, still in his prime, still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's well proven in that in the Premier League. Of course, he's been loaned out at quite a few clubs. Kane had a loan spell at Leyton Orient, Millwall. I think he had a loan spell at Norwich, and he also had a loan spell at Leicester. But he just feels really, really unhappy at Tottenham, especially since Jose Mourinho's come in. And I think Tottenham made a bad mistake by recommending Jose Mourinho in, because Jose Mourinho has passed his sell-by date. He was a good manager back in the day because he's got a good pedigree behind him, reflecting on the amount of silverware he's won, but he's passed his sell-by date now as Jose Mourinho. Tottenham shouldn't have got rid of Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino endured 5.5 years with them. And analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top 4. I think recently Pochettino's been in negotiations with Tottenham over his 8.5 million salary, getting cut. There was talks of his 8.5 million salary, getting cut, and all of that. But I think he's been linked with a return back to Tottenham as Pochettino, because Tottenham are very, very unhappy with Jose Mourinho. And like I said, Tottenham, don't forget, lost Christian Eriksen back in January after he endured 7 years with them. He went to Inter Milan. They also lost Danny Rose. He went out on loan to Newcastle. So there you go. And Tottenham have had a few injuries though this season. They have recruited quite a few players in, to be fair. Obviously, Mourinho got Jadon Fernandez in from Benfica, Steven Bergwijn as well, But Tottenham, analyse it, can't win anything in terms of silverware this season because they're not in the Champions League and they're not in the FA Cup. So I think Harry Kane's leaving. But I don't think we'll get him this summer when the transfer window reopens. I think maybe in the foreseeable future, then we could get Harry Kane maybe, next year or the next couple of years, to wait to see if his valuation goes down. But we will see what happens. But James Cooper, who was a Sky Sports reporter, like I mentioned the other day, he came out and said that actually, Man United are not interested in Harry Kane. He's not on our list of our summer targets. So that's the breaking news on Harry Kane. But I think, with our links to the likes of, Kane and Haaland and all of that, I think it could be, delaying us getting Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer, because we have not yet got Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. It's already been revealed how much it'll cost us to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer. It will cost us around £15 million to get him permanently. So he is a cheap solution, but 4 or 5 years ago, it would have cost us a lot more than £15 million would Ighalo. Now, Ighalo came out the other week and it was stemming from Sky Sports, and that actually said that Ighalo has not yet received any offer to extend his stay at the football club. We've got him on loan at the moment. His current loan spell expires on the 31st of May. We probably will extend his loan until June the 30th due to the coronavirus pandemic. We paid around 3 or 4 million to get Odion Ighalo in on loan, and we're paying like a third of his wages. Because his actual wages at Shanghai Shenhua is like £300,000 a week, so we're paying him like 100 grand a week. It said quite a few weeks ago that Shanghai Shenhua his parent club offered him around £400,000 a week, plus a 2-year contract extension to convince him to turn down a permanent move to Man United. But I think Ighalo's revealed that he wants to stay at the football club. But he said the other week he'd have to take a pay cut of around £200,000 to remain at the football club. So maybe he won't remain at the club, Odion Ighalo. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you. But I think he's enjoyed a good start to his Man United career, and he's a very, very good cover-up to Marcus Rashford. Ighalo's got 4 goals in 3 starts, I think, for the club. But, So I'd rather, sign a Bamian or even a Haaland, than Kane, because like I mentioned, they are much cheaper solutions, so too Timo Werner. But we will see how it plans out anyway. So now I'm going to delve into the news on Kai Havertz. So the news on Kai Havertz is that we've identified him as a summer transfer target, Kai Havertz. Now, the Bayer Leverkusen sporting director, he's come out and give his overarching view on this speculation. He's come out and said that Kai Havertz could leave Bayer Leverkusen when the transfer window does reopen. Now, the likes of Liverpool have been, relentlessly linked with Kai Havertz. Also, we've been in for him. Bayern Munich have also been in for Kai Havertz. I think it did report out, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago now, if I'm right? It was stemming from Sky in Germany, and it actually said that Kai Havertz wants to remain in Germany, but he wants to leave Leverkusen to join Bayern Munich. But, possibly, Kai Havertz could come to the Premier League. Now, Kai Havertz has remained loyal, to Leverkusen for several years. Well, up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Bayer Leverkusen. Didn't he join their youth academy in 2010? He was in their youth academy for a good 6 or 7 years. And I think he's been in Bayer Leverkusen's senior squad since 2016, or is it 2017? Don't forget, he became the youngest debutant in the Bundesliga. He also became the youngest player ever in the German top flight to reach 50 and 100 Bundesliga appearances. And I think in the Bundesliga, Kai Havertz has made around 110 appearances and scored around 30 goals. Is only at the age of 20. Can play as an attacking midfielder and can also play as a winger. Can the player? So his versatility is very, very good. So yeah, reportedly now Manchester United are in for Kai Havertz. So yeah, so that's the latest on all of the transfer news. Obviously, recently, I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jack Grealish. We've been relentlessly linked with Jack Grealish, and it did say he's one of our priority targets the other week. But what was coming out recently is totally contrast to that. Because reportedly now we are no longer interested in Jack Grealish, because Ed Woodward's preference is to get a holding midfielder rather than get Jack Grealish on the board. Like I said, Jack Grealish would probably cost us around £80 million anyway. Obviously, Maddison, he's going to be remaining loyal to Leicester, I think, because Maddison said his long-term future is with Leicester, and he insists that he's very, very happy with Leicester. I've also been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Saul Niguez. I've been keeping up to date with that. So there has been so many players on Manchester United's agenda. I think these are good, 14 players on our agenda who we could go in for when the transfer market does reopen. But like I mentioned, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his plans for when the transfer market does reopen. Don't forget, Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United, like he did do last summer. And a lot of people like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, recruiting young British players in. Obviously, so far, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been at Manchester United for around 16 months. So he has been here over the year. And I've got to say, he's changed quite a few things. I think Solskjaer's changed his personnel, he's changed his tactics. Obviously, before the football season got suspended, we looked a lot more. Was in a good vein of form because we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. So we have been, like I said, we was in a good vein of form. But, in 3 transfer windows, Solskjaer's recruited 5 players in and spent around £220 million. And when the transfer market does reopen, it will be Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. But don't forget, he said the other week that we will exploit the transfer market because, so what he means is, he believes we will get the right calibre players in because he knows a lot of teams are under financial pressure across the world, due to this coronavirus pandemic, and obviously, teams will have to offload some of their players to generate funds. So he believes, we can definitely, compete in the transfer market when it does reopen. But one admission I've got to make, I think, we have really, really improved in the transfer market under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. What I mean is, I think we've been, a bit more sensible with our recruitment under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So that's also another positive you can take, definitely. But I think, I expect Manchester United to make around 4 signings when the transfer market does reopen, because Solskjaer's revealed that he wants around 4 signings because he believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders next season. And I think, we can, win the league within the next maybe 2 to 3, maybe 4 years. Obviously, at the moment, City strides ahead of us, and, Liverpool are strides ahead of us, and they're going to look to do more business in, when the transfer market does reopen. But, it's been, 7 years, since we last won the Premier League title. Last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season, back in 2013. You can say when we won it in Ferguson's last season, it was Robin van Persie that won it, reflecting on the amount of goals, that he did score, Robin van Persie. So, like I mentioned, next striker we buy, we hope he can be the next Robin van Persie. But Solskjaer's, identified the areas where he does want to strengthen up. Obviously, he wants to recommend a centre-forward in. He wants to recommend a right winger in. He's in search for the midfielder. There's still some reports emerging out saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, does want a centre-half in. Me, personally speaking, I don't think we'll get a centre-half. No, because we've got a lot of centre-halves in the team as it stands at the moment. We've got Harry Maguire and Lindelof that are our first-choice centre-halves. You've also got Eric Bailly and Tuan Zebe that are our backup centre-halves. Obviously, you've got Phil Jones. He doesn't even get in the team now. It's likely, he's one of the players that's leaving Man United when the transfer window reopens. And we can cash in for Phil Jones. So Phil Jones has actually been here since the Alex Ferguson era. So he's been a long-serving player. Also, too, Fosu Mensah can play centre-half. So we've got a lot of centre-halves in team. Rojo, he's like our 6th choice centre-half. He's on loan at Estudiantes at the moment. I think we'll be getting rid of him permanently. We'll negotiate on it anyway. Smalling, he's on loan at Roma. We had Smalling 9 years. And, we got him under Alex Ferguson. So I think, the players that are here from the Ferguson era are likely, to leave when the transfer market does reopen, except De Gea. I think probably, De Gea, will remain at Manchester United. But yeah, I don't think Manchester United will get a centre-half in, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But Solskjaer's got the backing of Ed Woodward, and he's also got the backing of the Glazers as Solskjaer, which is very, very good to see. And obviously a lot of good news came out regarding Ed Woodward last week, because he's no longer involved in our recruitment process. Obviously, Man United have been very, very critical of him, not just throughout the course of this season, for several years, reflecting on how poor our recruitment has been, his poor selection of managers, and just the way the football club has been run in general. And Ed Woodward's been here for a good, 7 or 8 years now or something like that. And don't forget, he's got no intentions of getting a director of football in. Also, too, we've had doubts about the club's ownership, especially throughout the course of this season, because, the Glazers have received a lot of criticism, because a lot of the blame has stemmed from them, and they've taken over £1 billion out of the club since, they took over. I think the Glazers have been here since like 2005, is it now? So, yeah. But there again, there's also been problems with the management throughout the course of this season, because I've criticised Solskjaer, and a lot of other Manchester United fans have criticised Solskjaer. I've criticised him when he's deserved to be criticised and that. Because, we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season for 30 years. Since Solskjaer got the job permanently, his record has been disastrous, let's be honest. His record has been disastrous. His record has been disastrous in that. But there again, his record was disastrous at Cardiff and stuff like that. His approach to the games against the lower opposition, haven't been so good. But I think it's contrast to the ones against the elite opposition, because I think his approach to the big game Solskjaer's throughout the course of this season have been very, very good, to be quite honest with you. And like I said to you on my video yesterday morning, a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance. I still don't think, Solskjaer knows his best formation as yet. Like I mentioned, that's something he does need to address. On a regular basis this season, Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation. From my own perception, doesn't really seem to suit our standards. I think our best formation is the 3-5-2 formation, because I think we look more expansive with that 3-5-2 formation. I think Solskjaer a lot, went a lot with a 4-3-3 in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. So he does need to, address his best formation. without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, he's planning to get rid of players when the transfer market does reopen. I think we'll get rid of around 5 or 6 players. And obviously, if we do that, then our transfer budget will increase. Pogba, if recent reports are to be believed now, he's staying at the football club. But he could still possibly leave. Jones will go. Lingard and Pereira will go. They are 2 players that I can assure will leave Manchester United because Lingard and Pereira are 2 liabilities. The Athletic reported a few weeks ago saying that Arsenal have expressed their interest in Lingard. Also, to Everton have been in for Jesse Lingard. I think Lingard's got exactly a year left now on his Manchester United contract. Exactly a year left on his Man United contract. And he's been here for several years as Lingard. But since, Bruno Fernandes came, he's found game time difficult. And he hasn't registered a goal or an assist in the Premier League in over a year. So that just indicates how poor he is. Pereira, he only became a regular last season. He's only been playing a lot throughout the course of this season due to McTominay's injury. But we need to get rid of both of them. I think we need to try and get rid of Alexis Sanchez on a permanent transfer and that. But we will get rid of players. We'll probably get rid of Smalling on permanent transfer, like I mentioned. But there again, a lot of the players that we've got now will stay at the football club and that. Because like I said to you before, there's a lot of players that have long-term futures at Manchester United. Solskjaer's also promoted the youth very, very well. Because, the young players have been given their opportunities this season. Which is obviously, very, very good to see. Greenwood, Williams, they'll definitely come to successes at Manchester United. Maybe Chon will. I can't really say yet. Gomez, if he's to sign a new contract, then I think, he'll get his opportunities. Garner needs to get more opportunities going on into next season. So we've got a hell of a lot of young players in the squad. I think we've got the youngest, team in the Premier League this season. And, youngest team in the Premier League this season. But like I said, Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. And that was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And, in the last 6 or 7 years, we've been playing catch-up. There's a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the club. We spent close to the £1 billion range on recruiting new players in. And we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Ferguson era. I think we recruited like 2 players in under Moyes. A good 15, 16 was it under Louis van Gaal, if I'm right. Around 11 under Jose Mourinho. And obviously 5 under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. So, yeah. So, that's everything to update you today, guys. Next video, I'm going to talk with you, who do you think, who's Man United's most overrated players in recent history. That's what I'm going to mention on my next video. So, anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.